Now, he asked a very specific question, which I think is good. If you don't know what your unique ability is, you can ask other people around you. As a matter of fact, when I did this exercise probably 10 years ago, one of our homework assignments was to go to 10 people who knew us very well and say to them, I am getting very serious about finding my unique ability and I need some help from you. What do you think I'm really good at? And if you saw like 5 different people say the same thing, like you're really good at this. Okay, now let me give an example. I got a very good friend that was a basketball coach with me at Riverdale named Brandon Burks. He's been in my coaching program. We went to elementary school together. We went to high school together. We were college roommates. He was always great at math. As a matter of fact, when he was in elementary school, he was one of the only students in my elementary school that actually went over to the high school and took advanced math courses when he was in elementary school. When he was in high school, he went to college early to do this. He was always a math wizard. So he became a math teacher and a basketball coach. And he was a great coach. He didn't win any championships, but he was a great coach. He worked hard. And I kept telling him, I'm like, man, there is a bigger way for you to use this talent. There is a bigger arena for you. It's not just coaching high school basketball. So he became a mortgage originator, where he can break down numbers and percentages quickly, come up with here's how much you're going to have to owe. And he uses his talent of math, and he will make $1 million this year. $1 million. Because he did $100 million of production in mortgage. Everybody see that? Now, what was his real talent? His real talent was math. Right? That's his real talent. Breaking down formulas, percentages. That's his real talent. I would tell you it wasn't that it was misapplied when he was a math teacher, because he was a great math teacher. It was just still just playing in a real small arena. So he went from making $60,000 and until 10 years later making $1 million. All because of that talent. That was his talent. I do not have that talent in math. Okay? All right? I was a PE teacher. It was advanced honors PE, so don't make fun of me. Don't be joking. Don't be looking at me and judging. Right? Like it was high-end PE, okay? But my point was, that's not my talent. My talent from really 6 years old was coaching and directing and breaking down concepts. Does everybody see that? Many times your unique ability is detected very early in life. So when you backtrack it and trace it back, it was actually detected very early in your life. See, at 6 years old, Mickey Vincent, you've heard me tell the story, my Little League baseball coach. She was a woman coaching Little League baseball. It was really odd because everybody's mostly men. This one woman was coaching baseball, and my single mom would take me down to the baseball field, and I'd stay down there for hours and hours and hours and hours while my mom worked 2 jobs. Well, Mickey Vincent said to me at 6 years old, son, one of these days, when you grow up, you're going to be a great coach. How early did she see that in me? 6 years old. I didn't see it. I was just a kid. Now that I look back on my life, I could tell you that my unique ability was found very early, which is why I started coaching at 15, which is why I was a basketball coach at 18, which is why, you understand what I'm saying? Like for some reason, I was just lucky to find it. But I coach 9 out of 10 people that have not found this. So somebody give me one of their talents, and I want to run it through a filter and see if I think it's strong enough. Sam, give me yours.
I have a deep desire to do the impossible.
Okay, a deep. Now, let me ask you a question. Where does that desire come from? Huh? Where do you think it comes from?
It's just a gift.
All right. So what about in your history, in your past? Here's what I'm trying to get to. When you have a unique ability, this deep desire comes from somewhere. It may have been hardwired into him, but the reality is not everybody has a deep desire to do the impossible. Everybody, that makes sense? Yeah. So what I start looking for when I'm looking at unique abilities, where did this originate? Where did it come from? Why do you have such a strong desire to do it when other people don't have a strong desire to do it? Was there something in your past? Because unique ability many times is shaped by what? Your past. Right? Your past, things you've been exposed to. right? You didn't have something. You needed something. Somebody made fun of you. Somebody told you you couldn't do something. Somebody challenged you. You got cut from the basketball team. You thought you're going to win and you didn't. Like there's something in your past that like triggers something in you. Okay, now I would tell you as a coach, not as a psychologist, but as a coach, I don't care what activates your prey drive. I just need it to be activated. Does that make sense? Like I don't care what flips the switch for you. I just need it to be flipped. I don't care if you're mad at somebody, you want to prove to somebody that you're better or good enough. I don't care if you felt like you got rejected when you were a certain age. It does not matter to me what that trigger was. I just needed you to have a trigger. As a matter of fact, most of you, including myself, that went through something in your life that said it was a bad experience, probably could turn out to be the best thing ever happened to you, right or wrong. Many of you are where you are today because something bad happened to you and you used it. It gave you a new passion. And I did a whole series on conflict last year. It's one of the best things I ever did. I'm telling you, because you know what I figured out on conflict? Conflict is necessary for expansion. You will not expand unless there's some kind of conflict. Internally, with another person, like I'm telling you, some of the conflict I went through in 2018 was 2019 is the worst conflicts I've been through in my life, guys. What I went through this past year with people and experiences and just crazy stuff. If I wouldn't have had all that stuff, I wouldn't be as strong as I am. You follow where I'm going with this? So I want you to think that the reason I'm paying you for this level 10 opportunity, or the reason I'm paying you is because I'm paying you for your past. Your past helps me build my future. Everybody with me here? That's the whole reason I'm paying you, for what you've learned, for what you've gone through. You know something I don't know because of your experiences. You've been knocked down and you got back up, and now you're teaching me how to get back up. So when you think about unique ability, I want you to think of it that strong. Okay? Now also, the last thing I tell you on conflict is I used to think that passion, like emotion, came from passion. Like you have passion, and passion is irresistible belief for motive or action, so you have all this fire and energy. I would tell you the most emotion you're ever going to have in your life is when you think you've been done terribly wrong. Yes or no? And when you go through some serious conflict with another person and you feel like you've been screwed completely, I want to see what kind of emotion you got. Emotion doesn't come from passion. It actually comes from conflict. True emotion. The emotion that changes the world. The emotion that causes a person to start a nonprofit. The emotion that because something happened to you and you're like, I ain't letting this happen to nobody else. That's where true emotion comes from, okay? So it's not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing. You need it. You look at anybody that started something big, most of them started because they were mad about something, right or wrong? Somebody got done wrong somewhere and they said, I'm changing this, man. I'm sick of watching people do this. So for you, give somebody, one more person, give me their talent, what they think their talent is. Okay, now it's a deep, all right, let me ask you, okay, so let me go back to you on one thing, because this is bothering me. If you have a deep desire to do the impossible, translate that, how does your talent solve my problem? Because you're not going to be compensated. The compensation is going to come when your talent solves my problem, and I'm willing to reach in my pocket and pay you to solve my problem. How does your deep desire to do the unstoppable, unthinkable, whatever, how does that help me, right? Now, let me ask you this. Are you using that talent in your current vehicle?
Not to the full capacity.
Okay. All right, good. Now, how many people have a talent that they're not using to their full capacity? Okay. So there you go. So level 10. So Sam may say, I'm a level 10 dude, right? But I'm operating at a level 6 level. I got 10 gears, but I'm only hitting 6 of them. That's what he could say. Your talent solves my problem. The better you are at using your talent to solve my problem, the more compensation you're going to make. Right or wrong? Now, when I go tomorrow night to this Luke Combs concert, what am I paying $500 a ticket for?
Entertainment.
It's escape, man. But that's what you think. Like go down there, have fun, get rowdy. That ain't really what I want to see is I'm paying $500 to watch this dude perform his talent, which will inspire me to want to perform my talent. Everybody see that? When I go watch entertainers or artists, I'm watching them to get inspired. I'm like, I want to be on that stage in front of 20,000 people. Like that inspires me. That's really why I'm paying the $500 to watch him inspire me. You do realize that he's working. I'm paying $500 to watch him work. Now I want you to think, when's the last time somebody paid $500 to watch you put a roof on a house? Right or wrong? But if this guy becomes the number one guy in the world at putting roofs on houses, there would be somebody who would pay $500 to watch him do it. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. So that's how good I want to get you. You get so good, people would pay to watch you work. They'd pay to watch you work. They'd be like, man, I pay a bunch of money. Okay, there's a landscaping dude named Marty Grunder. I don't know if you know Marty, but up in Ohio, he became such a good landscaping company that he started charging $1,500 for other landscapers to come up there and watch him work. Landscapers would get all their people together and do a field trip to Marty's place, and he would walk them around and show them how he's done it. He started writing books about it. He started speaking about it. He was just a landscaping dude that was so good that people would pay to go watch him work. That's how good you want to become. Okay? Now, anybody else? Somebody else had their talent. Okay? So you understand the concept of intentional congruence? Intentional congruence is where I got a business right here, and this is a primary flow of income for me, but I also build other businesses around it. Okay? So think of I have a coaching business. That's my primary, Monster Producers, my primary coaching program. Then I do one-day events, retreats. Everybody see that? Speaking engagements, coaching programs, products, services. Like that's intentional congruence, where there's one primary flow of income and then you build 12 more flows of income off the one primary flow of income. So you could go ahead and start building that into your business model and saying, this is what we do, right? We do this, but we also have the ability to do this. Okay? And it's a secondary flow of income. My only rule is your secondary flows need to tie back to your primary flows. Do not be over here. This is your primary flow of income, and you're doing something way over here. It's got nothing to do with this. Because then you're now you're serving two different things versus one thing that makes money 12 different ways. So you have to find the intentional congruence of how it ties together. Everybody see that? You have to find the intentional congruence of how it ties together. Okay? Yep. Now let me ask you a question. Do you think this is a pretty cool room?
I do.
Do you think my wife's got an education in design? No. You know where education is? It's called Pinterest. And it's free. Best education you can ever get.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's my point. I do not get caught up in designations. Okay? Does it matter to you if I'm a certified coach or not certified coach? Yes or no?
No.
Does it matter to you if I have a doctorate degree or don't have a doctorate degree? Don't matter. Who cares? I don't even talk about my degrees. I think it's more of a turn off to talk about them than to not talk about than to tell people. I don't talk about them. Don't matter. Okay? So my point to you is when you're thinking about this concept, that's a limiting belief. What she's talking about is a consideration. It's an internal thought that prohibits an external action. Like people won't hire me as the designer because I don't have a design degree. I would tell you, who cares? Go design something really cool, take pictures of it, say, here you go. If you could look like this, would you want to hire me? Mm-hmm. That's all the degree you need. Now, how many people are out of alignment with what this is with their current work? Anybody?
I'm not sure.
So if you find your voice, my voice is at the intersection of these things. So I'm really good at it. I got a deep passion for it. Means there's a need for it, and my conscience is telling me to do it. If you put all those things together, you have found your voice. And when you do, it's on. It's on, because you're going to be real good. And when you're real good, people are going to go, man, I'm going to reward you. And we think of money, but there's actually more ways you get paid than just money. You get paid in love, you get paid in appreciation, you get paid in affirmation. It's not just money that you get paid. Money is a byproduct of other things. Would you agree? Okay, now this is an exercise that I want you to spend some time on. And if you have kids, I'm telling you, one of the best things you can ever do for your kids is help them find their voice in life. They will have no classes on this. I don't care where they go to school. Do you know my daughter's school is using my online academy for kids? Every 6th grader that goes to my daughter's school, Middle Tennessee Christian, goes through my courses. And in my courses are things like this that I'm teaching. How to find your voice in life. How to bounce back from adversity. You understand what I'm saying? How to handle rejection. These are things, because I went to the principal and I said, look, I love your school. My daughter's coming here. I'm going to pay the tuition. I said, but I just got to ask you a question. What class is my daughter going to find her voice in? He said, well, we don't have a course on that. And I said, you do now. My course. And to his credit, they bought it. They licensed it. And they're giving it to every one of the kids. They teach it as part of the class in the school. So my point is, the best thing I can do for my daughter is help her find her voice. What if I help her find it early in life? What if she finds it at 7 years old? Here's the deal. Tiger Woods was on a golf course at 7 months old with his dad. His dad retired from his primary job, and he had free time, and he took his son to the golf course every day at 7 months old. So if you were on a golf course at 7 months old, how good would you be at 18? Right? It wasn't that he was more talented than other kids. He had 18 years of practice. You start something and do it for 18 years, you're going to be great at it. This is why you see these gymnasts or you see these people that are world class. They started doing it when they're 4 years old, 5 years old, and 6 years old. The championship team that I coached at Riverdale, do you know that most of those kids started playing together when they were in junior pro and played together all the way till they got to me? So they've been playing together since they were 6 years old. They just kept getting better and better and better and better and better. And then I took them and we went and won a championship with them. But part of the reason we won a championship is because they started when they were 6 years old together. And they knew each other. And they trusted each other. And they liked each other. So when you think of talent, you got to find your voice. Now, let's say you think you found your voice, but there's a whole nother gear for you. Meaning you found it, but there's a bigger arena. Okay? So that's what I want you thinking. Find your voice. Now, let's move to the next piece. What is prohibiting you from, what is stopping you from making a jump from where you are to where you want to go? I would tell you it's in one of 4 areas. Okay? Whatever level you're at right now, what is stopping you from jumping to another level is one of these 4 things. It is you do not have the knowledge you need. You don't know how to do it. Everybody with me? It's out there, it's available to you, but you don't know how to do it. Okay? Now, I was in Houston this week. I'm going to speak to the financial advisors in the room. So our strategists, whatever you guys call yourself. And I coached 2 dudes in Houston, Texas that manage $6 billion of money. 2 guys. They compete against Goldman Sachs. They compete against all the major players, and they're just 2 dudes. One of them's a salesman, one of them is a tactician. Okay? 74 years old. The salesman is 74 years old. They will not take on a client. They will not take on a client unless they have $4 million, a net worth of $4 million above. Personal client. Then they go get big companies. They get companies, they manage their pension funds, their 401ks, and they manage $6 billion. I mean, they're good. Now, here's the deal. Notice I said they compete versus Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley, whoever the big names are. These 2 dudes compete with them, and they go in there, and you know the story they tell when they're competing versus them? Like, let's say they go to a university and they're trying to get the business of the university. They go in there and tell a story of David and Goliath. That's the story they lead with. And they tell the whole story. And they talk about how Goliath, right, is this, and here's David's story, and Goliath had a pituitary gland problem, which is big, but he had an eyesight problem, so he couldn't really see well, and all David had was just 2 little things, right? But how powerful was it? And when they tell that story, they say, we're David in this story, and we're competing versus Goliath. But here's what we do that they can't do. They have a knowledge and a skill set that is very powerful. Now, what could be holding you back from your level 10 opportunity could be you don't have the knowledge you need. Would you be willing to pay money to go get it? Yes or no? Because 9 out of 10 people won't pay money to go get it. There's something you don't know, right? You got to go get. Number 2, is it your skills? So knowledge for the mind, skill for the body. What specific skills do you need to get, and from whom, to multiply your earnings? Do you need better negotiation skills? Do you need better communication skills? Do you need better marketing skills? Right? Like there's a skill you're missing that is prohibiting you from producing. For most people in the room, I would tell you just by following you, you have a marketing problem. You do not know how to market yourself appropriately. You are not reaching enough people. You do not know how to position yourself strong or differentiated from other people. So you're competing versus a lot of people, and I can't tell the difference between what you bring to the table and what they bring to the table. That is a marketing problem. You don't have a talent problem. You got a marketing problem. Okay? So here's the deal. Will you pay the money or learn the skill? Everybody with me? Tony Robbins, I mentioned earlier, he's a great marketer. He knows how to market. He knows how to market himself. Okay? That's a skill. Or he's paying somebody to do that. 3, do you have enough prey drive? Prey drive, instinctual ability to see something with the eyes or mind and have the guts and fortitude to go get it. How strong is your prey drive? Okay? Do you have the ability to show up early, stay late, work the 10 years, embrace the suck? Do you have the ability to keep going when other people won't fight through? And then do you have the confidence for the spirit? When is your confidence at its highest peak? When is your confidence at its highest peak? Okay? So I want you to tell the people at your table, out of these 4 areas, what do you think you're deficient in? Okay? What's prohibiting you? If you're telling me you're a level 10 dude, what is it? Is it knowledge? Is it skill? Is it desire? Is it confidence? Okay? Tell the people at your table. Okay, if you're diagnosing something, let me diagnose it for you. Okay? And we got 10 minutes before we're going to break for lunch. Listen, when you're trying to figure out, and I've been using this week in my coaching program, if you are producing at a certain level, let's say you're making $50,000 a year. Let's just use that as an example. And you tell me you'd like to make $150,000 per year.
Yeah.
Okay? Then it seems like this is complicated to a lot of people. Like what's inside the black box? Like what do they know that I don't know? Why is that person doing it? And I go back to the 4 parts of your nature. Okay? Now we've got a person in our coaching program that was doing 45 deals a year, is now doing 160 deals a year. And the number one thing he went to work on was 2 things. His think got bigger and his skills got stronger. So when you're trying to make a jump like this, it is either knowledge, you don't know, you don't have the right information. Right or wrong? I was talking to a kid this week. We're trying to sell him to the coaching program. I like him. And he's doing some service work for us. And I called on him and said, man, what do we got to do to get you in the program? Well, we have an internal training program in our company. And I've been advised by my boss that I just need to stick to that training program. And here's what I said. It ain't working. Now, do you want me to tell you that it ain't working? Because I'm one of your customers and I can tell you whatever they're training you on ain't working. You don't know how to call your customers. You don't know how to engage with them. You don't know how to get referrals from them. I don't care what your boss told you. He's actually going to keep you from making money. He's probably some scared little manager, scared to death to let him learn anything. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm telling this 25-year-old kid, you need to get around people who know how to make money. Okay? And that don't mean your boss is the right person to do it. You follow what I'm saying here? Now, so I'm like, you ain't never going to jump from one place to another place, man, following whatever program y'all are following right now, because it don't work. Well, I don't know what to tell you. And I'm like, you don't have to tell me anything. Okay? You told me everything you need to tell me. Okay? I'd go back and tell my boss, listen, if you ain't going to pay for it, I'm going to pay for it. Because I need to get the knowledge I need to go produce. You ain't giving it to me. So it's either knowledge, skill, desire, or confidence. That's what's keeping you from doing this. It is either you don't know and you got to go get it. Right? That's what I'm saying here. Now, I send my daughter every Wednesday to horse camp. She loves horses. Every week they teach her a new trick. They teach her how to ride that horse different. They teach her a new move. They teach her how to clean the stalls. They teach her how to do everything, and she loves it. Every week she comes home and I say, what'd you learn today? Coach, I rode this horse. I learned this. We did this. I'm getting ready to start doing this. Now, we don't have any problem paying for our kids to go get a skill, right or wrong? Right. But we won't pay for ourselves to go get a skill. Right. If you're not closing deals and you get right to the finish line and people say no to you, then there's something you're saying that ain't right. You need to learn how to close people. That's a skill. Okay? You need to go learn from the person who knows how to do it. And you're probably going to have to pay to learn how to do it. So why would you do it for your kids and not do it for you? Because that's what's keeping you from going from those 2 numbers right there. It's typically, some of you may tell me it's prey drive, but for the most part, what I see is prohibiting your income is these 2 things. You don't have the right knowledge and you don't have the right skills. And because of that, you are limited. You're limited in scope in what you can do. Okay? So just remember that. So I would ask you this, what's holding you back? Here are things that keep you stuck from moving to the level 10 opportunity. Number one, you're interested in the rat race of doing it. You ain't stepped back and looked at your biggest opportunities because you're just so busy doing what you're currently doing. Number two, some people have golden handcuffs. That means they're making a good amount of money and they're afraid to step out of that opportunity to go over here and do this. This is the gold mine, but they're afraid to go get it because I got to leave this. Okay, and I see this happen a lot. I'm making good money. I don't want to screw it up. But could good actually become the enemy of great? Right? My poor little vehicle's gone as far as it can go. I'm lacking the courage to go for it. I don't have the skills I need to get there. I don't even know where I want to go. I don't even know what my level 10 is. I just know that there's something inside of me telling me I should be doing something bigger. Okay? So these are all things that keep a person stuck, right? Where they are. You're just stuck. It's like I can't move. I can't move. Nothing happens until somebody moves. You may have to have enough frustration to move. You may have to get sick and tired of being sick and tired to move. Okay? So why are you stuck? Okay? Is your excuse up here on the board? Yes or no? Okay, good. Because these are common excuses I see. Okay? I retired at 31 years old from high school coaching. At the peak of my career, I was scared to death, man. I was scared to death. As a matter of fact, I was so scared that I actually agreed to coach a summer team all summer because I was afraid I would miss coaching so badly that I would not be able to live without it. It's all I'd ever done. And I was miserable. I knew it's time for me to move on. Like, I'm not having any fun. I don't enjoy it. I lost all joy and passion for it. That is a definition of burnout, by the way. When you lose all joy and passion for something, that's burnout. You're sick of it. You don't want to talk about it, think about it, hear it. Like, I very seldom go back to a basketball game today. I may go back one time a year, and that's just for the Hall of Fame night. I don't even like to go. How could you love something so much and not want to participate in it? Because I just had all I could take, man. 10 years of going at that pace, I don't even want to talk about it. Right? And it's funny because people always come up to me and want to talk sports with me. Hey, coach, you see that game on Saturday? So when you think about it, this is the problem. Now, we're going to finish this session off. I got 5 minutes to do this one exercise. And then we're going to take a break and feed you some food. Okay? This is where we start getting tactical. I want you to write down right now, in 2020, how much money you're going to earn from your primary flow of income. Your primary flow of income is your number one way that you generate income. Okay? I want you to write down what you want to earn in 2020 in your primary flow, not your secondary flows. We'll get to secondary in just a minute. I don't care how big the number is. And I would actually probably teach you to put two numbers. Put a dream number and an optimistic number. And the dream number is a really ridiculous number. All right, the second question. 80 to 100% of your time in 2020 is going to be spent doing what? Now, what I mean by that is what you love doing. If you are the business owner and you are designing the business, then for the love of goodness, design it in a way that is around your unique ability. If it was up to me, I would probably never coach anywhere in the world except this lodge because I love it so much. So I could technically design the business to where the only place I coach is here. Companies come here. Individuals come here. I do retreats here. Like, if I wanted to, I could design the whole business where it says, hey, if you want me to coach you, this is where it's going to be at. And there are people who do that, right or wrong. I've gone to trainings for me to go learn from them. They said the only place I coach is at my ranch, or I coach at my house, or I coach here. And for years, I was like, man, why do they do that? Well, I figured out that's what they love doing. They designed their business around what they loved. So for you need to say 80% of my time. Like, I have a team of people around me. Here's what I tell my team. I want to be Garth Brooks. I don't want to set the stage up, put the muffins out, get the PowerPoint ready. Like, my job is to come in and do what I'm going to do with you for 4 or 5 straight hours. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. If I got to set it up and do everything, then why do I need a bunch of people around me?
Right.
Garth Brooks don't set the stage up. He don't sell the t-shirts. He don't pop the popcorn. He comes in and sings, for the goodness sakes. So is it possible for some of you, now listen, if you're a little solopreneur with no employees and you got one person helping you, it's going to be very hard because right now you do cook the popcorn and you do set the stage up and you do everything. I've just decided in my life, man, I've been doing this too long to do those things. I've done those things before. I ain't doing them no more. Does that make sense? I'm designing the business around what I love doing. Because we're going to make a lot more money when I'm happy, right or wrong? Mm-hmm. E. White, we're going to make more money when I'm happy?
You dang right.
When daddy's happy, everybody's happy.
That's right.
When I ain't happy, ain't nobody happy, trust me. So how do we keep Coach Bird happy? We let him do what he loves doing. Everything else is done. That's why you have a staff. Okay? Now, I tell my people a lot of times, I own the business. I'm paying you to make the business profitable. If I gotta own it and do it and drive the bus and fly the airplane, what more do you want me to do here? Right or wrong? So think of it like this. You own the business. Somebody else makes the business profitable. That's what the employees are for. Okay? And I didn't think like this for a long time. I thought it's my job. I got to sell everything. I got to deliver everything. I got to service all the customers. I got to get back to every email. There's only so big you can get thinking like that. Because there's only one little bit of you. I don't care how good you are, how many hours you're willing to work. All right, number 3. This is one of my favorite questions. Who am I going to be working with in 2020 that I love working with? Now, let me give you an example. I work with an insurance company in St. Louis. It's a $25 million insurance company. They are the company that pay me the most money to coach them. And I love coaching them. I love the owners. I love their people. The owners love me. Their people love me. When I go there, I was telling you guys, I like going where I feel celebrated, not tolerated. And when I go there, I have no hesitation of going there coaching them at all because it's so much fun and they're on board and there's energy. You understand what I'm saying? And we go to dinner the night before I coach them and man, it's like a 4-hour dinner. It's just energy and ideas and it is like they're so grateful for me and I'm so grateful for them. Does everybody see that? Yeah. So my mind is like, how do I get 20 of them? That's who I love working with. Some of you are working with people you don't like. They don't like you. Everything's stressful. The business is creating all this tax, emotional tax on you. But here's the problem. You've designed it that way. Mm-hmm. Yes or no? Yes. You have designed it to where you're working with people you don't even like. When you see their name on your caller ID, you go, oh, God. Do I have to talk to Joey today? That's what you're thinking. I like seeing a person's name go, man, I can't wait to talk to them. Because when I leave them, I feel increase in my life. I don't feel decrease. You can design your life to work with the people you want to work to. You do realize that, don't you? So who do you want to work with in 2020? Write it down. Is it a certain group of people? Is it a certain demographic of people? Man, this is good stuff. When I put this together, Jay, I didn't know I was going to hit it out of the park like this today. I'm feeling good about this. This is helping me, Jason. You know it?
Coach, you're so good, I didn't pay.
That's right. Now we're talking. When my own team pays me for the coaching, we are headed in the right direction here. Now, this is another question. I collect this much money in passive or residual income. That means it is not money you're earning, you're working for. It is passive or residual. Right? So you are making money from passive or residual things. For example, my real estate properties around the world create passive money for me. I don't work them. We have people that clean them. My wife manages them. She don't have to, but she enjoys it. We collect rents. The house I have in Florida, the rent for that is $14,000 a week. You follow what I'm saying? And if we keep that puppy rented, then it produces about $100,000 of positive cash flow for me a year. And here's the best part. I get to go down there. I'm going down there next week to enjoy it. So I'm not only enjoying the property that I bought, I'm making money off the property that I bought, and it's passive. It's just coming in. Everybody see that? This lodge will eventually make that kind of money, if not more. I actually think this lodge can make a lot more than that. I think my goal for this lodge is $250,000 a year in passive income. once we get it up and get it going. That's with weddings that are happening here. When we get the barn done and there's events down there, when we have little tiny houses on it where you can rent, when we got ATVs you can ride around, when we got a little putt-putt golf course out there, whatever. I got all these visions for this place, but the ultimate vision is this puppy bringing in about $250,000 a year to me. Does that make sense? And if I can come over here and coach a little bit, you know my wife and my family is living here the whole month of December. My house is 20 minutes from here, my personal residence. We moved out here for the month of December. It means we're living here for the whole month. Why? Because we can. And why wouldn't we, Scott, right? Why wouldn't it? Because my wife said, I hope it snows. I love the Christmas time. So I'm like, baby, let's just move out there. It's our house. Whatever we want to do, we can do it. Now, my point is, my goal, as hard as I work in my coaching business, and I love it, is to build so much passive income over the next 10 years that I don't have to do anything. Isn't that everybody's goal? Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to retire, do nothing. That means I can do whatever I want to do. If I want to coach 150 days a year, I do. Right? But I don't, what? Have to. And I think it's sad when a person has to do, when the musician has to sing the songs just for the money. You see what I'm saying? Sad, man. It's sad when the person has to do the thing they don't want to do because they got to have the money. Because that takes all the joy and passion out of it. All the joy and passion is I ain't got to do it, but I love to do it. And I can't think of doing anything else in the world. And I can't even believe that they pay me to do it like this. You ever notice if you do go to a Garth Brooks concert how grateful and appreciative he is for those fans? Like you have a sense when he's singing that this is the greatest thing in the world. Like I am so thankful for you. I can't even believe you would show up for this. But you did. Like you feel it from him. That's why people are so endeared toward him, because they can tell that he appreciates them. That make sense? Mm-hmm. They can feel that exchange of energy. He gives them his talent. They give him their love. So how much money are you going to produce in passive income next year? And if you're not there yet, I'll close it with this. When you understand intentional congruence, this is the concept I mentioned earlier. Intentional congruence is I got a primary flow of income. That flow of income gives me excess cash at the end of every month. Everybody understand what I mean by that? You have paid yourself. You have paid your taxes. You have paid your employees. And then you still got a bunch of money left over. Everybody see that? That's excess cash. You then take that excess cash and you can begin feeding or building secondary flows of income. Okay? So the excess cash, so for me, think of it this way. Coaching business gives me excess cash. Take the excess cash, put it into investments. The investments produce secondary, right? Passive cash flow for me. But I could never hit the investments if my primary business is not making enough money. Everybody follow what I'm saying here? You can't invest $300,000 a year if you ain't got $300,000 a year extra to invest. Where do I get the $300,000 extra? I got to sell something. I got to produce something. I got to create something. So the intentional congruence is primary flow of income produces excess cash builds secondary flows, and with my secondary flows, I'm building wealth, I'm enjoying it, and I'm feeding the cycle over and over and over. So people ask me why I don't buy apartment complexes, because that's one way to build wealth, and a very popular way for a lot of people to build wealth. And I'm not saying I won't at some point, but I like putting money into things I can personally enjoy, while also producing cash flow, while also giving me a place to coach. Does that make sense? So I buy unique properties like this where I can live and coach that makes me happy. Like a guy the other day is trying to get me invested in urgent cares. And it's good. It's a good investment. It's $1 million to buy them. I'd own the real estate. I got a 10-year lease on a renter. They're going to pay $100,000 a year for rent. Within 12 years, it's all paid off, and then I'm making it $100,000 a year, forever. These little urgent cares, typically in small towns. Okay, so the doctors have got the urgent cares, or the people that own them. They're looking for somebody to own the building, and I would just be the owner. I said, do I ever have to go look at them? Nope. Do I ever have to be it? Is there a management company? Yes. All you got to do is sit back and collect your $8,000 a month. But to do that, we got to buy the building for $1.2 million. So we got to put a little over $200,000 down to buy the building. Does that make sense? Now, I'm asking myself, would I rather put the 200,000 into that, or would I rather put it in something I'd enjoy? Because I'm just going to be. Does that make sense? Will that do it for me? It may do it for some people. It may not do it for me. I don't buy storage units because I can't get involved in storage units. I just can't get excited about it, man. I know they make a bunch of money,
Right.
but I just can't get excited about it for some reason. So for me, this is the cool part to me. If you're really building some wealth, you actually, you may say you ought to buy the storage units and take the money and go do something you love doing. There's no one right way to do this. You got to do it the way you want to do it. Does everybody understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. All right. So good. Will we say that was a good first morning? Good morning so far? Okay. So when we come back in the afternoon, we got some good things. We're going to talk about building out your dream team. We're going to talk about how you go from a baby star to a big star with different divisions of your company. We're also going to get into level 10 opportunity filter. I've got 6 things I'm going to show you that when I'm trying to make a decision, is this a level 2 opportunity or a level 10 opportunity? When I'm looking at something to take action on, okay? So we're going to take about an hour for lunch. It's 11:40 right now. Let's start back at by 12:30. We need enough time this afternoon to get our stuff in, okay? So my wife and everybody's down there, the staff, go get you some food, mix and mingle, enjoy yourself, okay? Thank you for a great first part of the day.